right? Hi, everybody again who's joining on the web. This is Praveen Baskia, professor at MIT ADT University. I teach managing sustainability to MBA executive students. Our goal is to help organization, help students learn about sustainability and actually make more profit, like more revenue, more customers, and less zero waste and other stuff like that. Okay. So, and that's to that point, we are going to discuss zero waste. Like, how do we design for sustainability where we are not just better? How do we? It's better for always, like it's zero waste, zero input, everything zero, right? How do we make stuff from zero? And of course, I have been preaching, or you can say teaching, that you need not be that level, right? So you need not be go to that 100% level or zero waste in day one. You could take 10 years, you could take 20 years, but you have to make a start. But today we are going to, where's the end of the sustainability, right? How much can we go? Of course, there's no end. You can go to zero and then you can go to negative, right? So there is no end to it, but at least your target, you can call yourself to end when you're fully sustainable. And even if you're a business, even if you're a human, if you want to live 140 years, you have to be fully sustainable, right? Even if you're small damage to your body, like little sugar level, it's going to build up. Like if you're doing little scar in your kidney or liver, it's going to build up, and eventually you will lose 70 years. That's how exactly business works. If you're destroying your business, your world, your resources, inputs, little by little every year, you are destroying your business. Eventually your business will go bankrupt. And that's why most of the business goes bankrupt, not because they are not for profit, because they're not finding more profit using sustainability. So let's go to design of sustainability. Design by sustainability. So anybody idea what does that mean?
Not much, sir.
Design for sustainability. Basically, it's basically when we are designing, like so far what we have done is we have done a patchwork, right? Oh, you're using more water, let's use less water. But design for sustainability is a different way of looking, right? We look from how do we design from zero waste? How do we design from zero input? Like I want to make something, but I don't want to use anything from the world, right? Or it has to be circular thing. If I use it, I reuse it, or I create it on a continuous basis. So let's take more deeper like that will, and we will go into point by point, like how each aspect is covered. So yeah, where is that? Design for sustainability. There you go. Good. So let's go. And I guess I started the recording, right? Yeah, recording is going on. So basically, before we go into this, what is design by sustainability, we need to understand what is actually sustainable. I know I discussed this entire thing, but there are a lot of support. I think like people do a lot of things in sustainable. Like they do I'm sustainable. They do little thing and say I'm sustainable. So what are the definition, different thing? And so obviously environment comes first. Like we need a world, right? We need a world. Like you can't argue about that. Like and there is no doubt. Like you need a world to stay, right? You breathe air, you breathe water, drink water, you need food, you need space to space. So that's in environment. In its society, yeah, to an extent human can live without society, but we have proven scientifically that we are a society driven man, and especially there's so much work to be done, right? You just can't do everything on your own, so you have to live on a society. Not have, but it's preferable to live in a society. Like people do live off grid and went away and having their, that is also possible. It's not that. And then of course you need an economy. So this is how any business should also do. We are not saying you should not make profit. We are telling you we should make more profit. But first thing about environment. So if you take a top-down approach, you will always make profit. Because if you use zero, so basically, what does environment mean? Healthy ecosystem, biodiversity, supporting built environment, resource conservation, pollution prevention. What does economic means? Economic growth, making profit, private profit, making market expansion, like domination, whatever you call it, economic stability, efficiency. The way evolution work is either you make more money or you go out of business, right? It's not about just, hey, I will just maintain my business. I'm selling this much stuff and TV and I'll keep continuing. No, the TV will evolve. Blockbuster went bankrupt. So it's not about, you have to keep evolving and keep meeting new demands. What is society? Equity, local self-realization, inclusion, like you have to empowerment, participation, social accountability, appropriate technology. Like it's not about like making say somebody living in a jungle. They have environment, very good environment, but they have no money. So that's why this is also about economy. So basically, when you do environment and economy, it's a viable solution. When you have environment and society, it's a support itself, but it's again not sustainable, because yes, you are helping people, but that's not it's helping some tribe. But they're not. They still doesn't have the medicine. They're still dependent on other people, right? So that's why to get a fully sustainable human or society or tribe or family, we need to be fully sustainable. It could be economy and society as well only, and that's called equitable. So there are different terms which people use quite, like they will just say environment, I'm sustainable. That's not really called sustainable, and we let them call you're only 10% sustainable. We call it like even if you do the environment, you are doing the 33% of it, right? So even if I do the profit, like even a BP is 33% sustainable because they're at least making the profit, right? So why are you complaining against them? So what is sustainable design, right? So this is a simple design approach that seeks to minimize negative environmental, social, and economic impacts. Right. So when we come to sustainable design, there are a few other terms which we need to be familiar as well. Like this is also used quite infrequently along with sustainable, right? You must have heard about eco design. You must have heard circular economy, circular design. Like definition, designing a product in a way that takes the reduction of social, environment, and economic impact at the heart, minimizes these impacts as much as possible. And of course, eco-design focuses on reducing environmental impact in every step of your product life cycle. The foundation of eco-design is environmental data on the product. Circular means designing a product and service that creates no waste and pollution and keeps product environment. But sustainable covers all of them. So sustainable means it is superset of everything. So I'll let you guys read through. Right. So I'll go through it quickly. Look at the design choice, reduce the social environment. We'll cover them in more detail in future further slides. Analyze social impact. Our workers been paid fair wages? Will your product have healthy endangering effect on consumer? So we basically do everything in this. And eco design we have covered a lot. Circular design, zero waste, designing in a loop, like material in your product. Viswa. Right. So this is totally sustainable, right? So it's again, as I said, it's a superset of everything, right? So this is our goal in safe and sustainable by design. Reduce carbon footprint production, enable renewable production, GST at downstream and bypass. And when they say reduce, basically you have to keep reducing, but you should be by design zero. Water, soil, preserve and restore natural resource quality. Like that, now we are going to restore, right? Which is like kind of beyond what? Water, soil, and carbon sink, water treatment potential, land use, abiotic depletion potential, European potentials. Protect and restore biodiversity and ecosystem, pollution prevention, control emission to earth and water and soil. Improve circularity, potential biodegradable and compostability of products, waste prevention in production and use of waste, support of recycling opportunity in value chain, use recycle material and feedstock recyclability, durability and repairability. Sustainable use of natural resources, reduce water footprint, and if you use water, you basically harvest that water. Raw material scarcity, enabling downstream resource saving, use of competing renewable raw material. And there's obviously human toxicity, aquatic, terrestrial ecotoxicity. Like, of course, it need not be toxic as well. When it comes to health and safety, like you cannot put worker or anybody in risk. Occupational health risks, HSC of local community living conditions, safe work environment, work management of workers, individual health product profile, impact on consumer health. Of course, you need to pay them fair wages, appropriate working hours, no forced labor, human trafficking, and slavery, no discrimination, social and employee security and benefit, access to basic need, respect for human rights and dignity. Of course, there's more skill and knowledge and employability, promotion of skills and knowledge of local community. But you also not only have to make more profit, you will make more profit when your employer becomes more efficient as well. Like, how do we make more every year? Like, this time your revenue from 10 employee was say 10 million. How do you make 10 employee give you 20 million next year? And how about next year give you 100 million? So that's where the benefit really comes. And that's why you have to make them, empower them, and get them more productivity out of them. Management of reorganization, job creation as well, employment, well-being, job satisfaction, work-life balance, access to tangible resources. So these are some of the social criteria. And it also covers not only your employee, but also area you work, consumer benefit also, not only by giving the product. In name of giving the product, you're not destroying the world, right? And destroying their life as well in the process. Of course, you have to also do market related, like stakeholder requirement, product performance, value chain collaboration, transparency. So this is what people usually focus on business, but actually the business should be fully focused so that you can make more profit, right? And live right. So basically, this is a context how we do in a farm, right? So of course, I'm agriculture background, so we know how food comes, right? So basically, we might think like food is a isolated thing, but it is not, right? So farm has inputs like products, which like tractors. That's why it's there. And of course, so if tractor is used, the tractor itself could have waste, right? So industry has waste, and then they use resources, and then the industry use further resources. And you can see that everything has to connect to each other, right? So some of the waste of the industry, like CO2, could be used as an input to food industry, or some of the food in waste, other waste could be also be used input, like bio waste and other stuff like that. Farm industry is also there. Again, waste comes here out output, and so this is the kind of a circular we have to think from every aspect, like how circular, how close. First of all, you have to also think about how closer the circle can be. The bigger the circle, obviously more difficult to control. Like if it is a global circular design, it's not happening. Like country can claim, hey, we are eco-sustainable, and they may not be. So you have to make smaller circles, like in a district level, in a building level, the building is fully sustainable. Business level, as I said, in individual level, like you are fully sustainable. The design for sustainability built on the principle of design to cost and design to value. Like we already learned about design to cost and design to value, maybe in other courses. Design to cost, impact, design to value, like that's why people will buy. And then you do the design for sustainability. So reduce manufacturing cost, that's one of the goals. That's why people will buy it. Increase margin, increase sales, like you're giving value, adding something on it, like combine margin and sustain, reduce consume energy and resources, and process and rethink their. So basically, by applying sustainability design, you are using less resources and you're coming up with more products. And of course, more engagement of consumer employment as well. So raw material, processing, transport, retail use, waste. So we have to think when we're designing, say I'm making this cup. How do I make it completely every aspect of the program? Where is the raw material coming from? Where is the processing coming from? Where is the transport coming? How will it going to go to the consumer? How it is going to be sold? How is it once this cup gets broken? How is going to come? What is the waste? You don't have to come it back. You just need a strategy. And of course, some of them will come back to you as a raw material as well. So we already seen a bigger chart of this. Is kind of the same explanation of a different aspect of doing design, recyclability, remanufacture, design of societal element, design of functionality, design of manufacturing, design of resource utilization and economy. Right. So basically, innovation, right. So basically, this is a kind of circular. And once you have a circular economy, it's very difficult to realize where it is starting, even what is the starting point, right? Right. So I think it starts from here, extracted resources. So say we need iron, like of course we need to make a light bulb, right? So we extract resources like water, energy, natural resources. So we have to think, hey, we need these inputs, and then we manufacture them. That again uses electricity and energy. How do we make it shorter? Resource losses partly recovered. So when we do manufacturing, there will be loss. Like it's not 100% of the input iron sheets is converted to a fridge or something like that, right? And then you have to distribute it. Distribution, ownership transfer from manufacturing to consumer or point of sale. Then of course you have to also think about how can we make a life longer, reuse, repair, remanufacture, repurpose, what do we call it, RRR principles. So you is controlled by buyer, owned by consumer, but we have to train them. We have to give them, like, like I have this rope, but if the rope becomes unusable, you can recycle it, but you can also make a mat from it, which is another product. And then you make a design for that and give it to the customer, like a pamphlet, like, hey, this is what you can do after it becomes, and it becomes a nice mat. And then after the mat, you can do this, and after this, you can do this. So this is where you come. So this doesn't cost you much money. Like adding a pamphlet doesn't cost you much money, or adding in these days, you can even connect with the consumer, like, hey, connect with us and we will give you another 50 pound extra value product. And people say, hey, 50 free product. And that way you're connected to consumer as well, and you could actually make more sale as well. And the consumers are more reliable. Hey, by buying this product, not only I'm getting my TV, I'm actually saving my life. I'm not destroying my life by buying this TV. Of course, you need innovation. So let's look into more detail. What is the process? And of course, we already know about the benefit of eco-design. More sustainable industry company benefit from innovation, become more committed. Happier consumers, like consumers need are met and more attractive. So we have covered a lot of these. So we are not going to do more of these anymore. Feature an example of eco-design. The fewer material, manufacturing using fewer material and less energy. This protect resources and reduce emissions. So it's basically a rethought. How do we do something which uses less material? Easy to recycle, uh, ensuring easy disassembly of product material. Like if you mix material, then it becomes very difficult to recycle. Like if you mix paper and plastic, now it certainly can't be. We have to throw them out. It goes to landfill. But if we kept it separate, only paper product, only plastic product, it's very easy to recycle. Use a biodegradable, use a single time material like biodegradable. Like suppose you have to use a carry bag, use a paper bag, right? If for temporary, or maybe jute bag, like for whether natural or derivative, long lasting, safe, sustainable product should be long lasting, maximizing useful. Like if you make a product which is long lasting, of course, it really has a less multi-purpose, reusable, and recycled products should have multiple uses, be used, suitable for use, and be manufactured with recycled products. Like it's not about like, hey, I made this product and this is only my product, right? Once it goes to consumer can do anything with it. Like you have cell phone who's got spoiled, but its battery can still be used to charge your home, like make solar power panels. Lower misuse as a battery storage for that. Lower emission products should be suitable for same material and fuel consumption. Innovative technology innovations to optimize product efficiency and sustainability. Green message, sustainable design, spread the idea with the message intrinsic in the product itself. The example, as I said, like no matter where you have a doubt, we can always look into any industries. Biodegradable furniture, recycled tableware, edible coffee cups, bamboo sunglasses, toothbrushes, as well as clothes tools made with plastic recovered from motion. So there's hundreds of examples we have, and there's millions of possibilities. Like this is about pre-build phase, extraction, processing, manufacturing, transportation, building phase, construction, operation, maintenance, post-building, waste, recycling. So these are the three building blocks of any product or service you can talk about. if you look from that was a building, but if you look from cell phone, raw material, manufacturing, lifetime, transportation, end of life, the same circle. So this is how people think about it these days, like how buildings are built, design, construction, operation, maintenance, and demolition, which is not a sustainable, like a flat. So basically, we need to think needs, ideas, development, and implementation. Design process. This is how we do the designing. Like, we have to keep thinking about like what is the needs and do smaller activities. And of course, you need to connecting for society, promoting affordability, like you not only about profit but also about society, supporting thriving communities, growing careers, optimizing resources, protecting natural environment. We already talked about, right? So basically, when you are like a shopping chain, you could promote paper bag instead of plastic bag. Like if it is suppose it has to be single use, it could be a paper thing, because paper can be made from nothing, basically, from just energy. And of course, how can building be sustainable, right? So the integration of renewable technology, rainwater harvesting, solar passive architecture, site and ecological assessment, land suitability analysis, water population, biodiversity, water recycling. So the same building can be looked, and now it becomes suddenly very attractive. This could be one of the top society of the society of the world now, because now it has eco built in it. Natural lighting, indoor environmental quality, bioremediation, building material, so that not only you build building from less resources, you're making building which will last forever. There's less chance of collapse because you're making it stronger, repairable. Like if something breaks, how do we fix the window? Like you're thinking upfront, right? Not that if the window will break, then we will think how will the window will be fixed. If the lift will break, how will, so we are thinking it from upfront how to do it. So environmental sustain ecosystem integrity, carrying capacity, urban infrastructure integrated zone, long-term approach. So basically, so this is about infrastructure, right? How do we make infrastructure sustainable? So there is short-term approach, there is a long-term approach as well. So functionality, reliability, usability, profit. So these are the things which we are looking in an infrastructure, like when we are developing a city or a village or whatever you are trying to do. And of course, we are talking about rebuild, right? And of course, these concept can be even applied to a new, old as well, cities as well, like, which is already, and so we will let you, so this is basically highlighting many, like how many things we have to think, like especially when we are building infrastructure, there are a lot of things we have to think about, like self-esteem, love needs, safety needs, psychological needs, sustainable design principle, system design principle, flexible design principle, universal design principle. There are a lot of things which you have to look for. So there are, of course, psychologists who have done like needs, like what people need, like there's a psychological need, there's a safety need, love need, and this is called triangle, right? And especially urban planning, creativity design, proficiency design, usability design, reliability, and functionality. So it starts with functional, like I need a house, but of course, then it goes up the cycle. You have to think a lot, like let's go to the design. So basically, this is how we do, like how do we design urban communities? Because you guys are in the industry, so let's use. So from we went to the bag. So what best is it? Use a reusable bag, cotton or jute bag. So that is not only it's long term, but it is actually made from sustainable products. And of course, even the design process is a circular. It need not come to empathize. What is the problem? Ideate. How do we solve it? Form, prototype. How do we create it? Start creating. I experiment and test it. Does it work? Implement the product, show and tell, start to refine the product, define why is it important, and then you go again. So we already talked about these infrastructure, like organize stakeholder, develop a community vision, establish goal, assess assets and opportunity, identify approaches and to add green infrastructure, factor brownfield and hazardous waste site into planning, right? Or you can say like this building has to deal with it. So local, sooner we deal with it, the better it is. Plan for long-term operation and maintenance, develop strategy for local funding, identify federal government resources, monitor and measure progress. So this is how we develop a green design. So this is how we make, like, current situation, we resource depletion, increase population, more production, more waste. And they do kind of three reuse being less bad. Reuse is kind of being less bad, not zero sustainable, right? Resource still depleting through reducing, production uses reduce and was recycled. This is what people are doing these days, right? They are doing some of the R's and some of the reduce. So this is most what we are doing, but we have to go towards solution C. The resource is completely coming from nothing. Being 100% good, renewable energy, like energy is coming from nothing. That's renewable energy, right? So wind energy, technical cycle, cradle to cradle design, we call it. So 100% of the waste is reused. And of course, if you use 100% of the waste, that means you have to use less resources. So once the aluminum is extracted, it's basically reused forever. So that is the principle. Like, how do we make? So yeah, you could be making like aluminum granules, but then you need to make us sure how do we make annual granule from your product as well. So it's not only about RRR. Yeah, you can start with this solution, some of the reduction, but you have to think like how. But if you mix a product, like if you make a packet which is mixing plastic and paper, that becomes very difficult. So again, you have to break into smaller parts. How do we do it? Like, it's not about like, okay, having a principle. You have to think about raw material. Use low impact materials. Like you start with better. Use non-polluting material. You do not mix material, which I was emphasizing. Designed for disassembling of the product. Like if it is broken down, how do we disassemble and reuse some of the component even? Use long-lasting material when appropriate. Use locally available material. That will reduce transportation as well. Manufacturing. Use room temperature manufacturing instead of high temperature. Like things have been manufactured at like say 10,000 degree or 5,000 or 500. It's more waste. Minimize waste generation. Reduce energy consumption. Cut down pollution. And yeah, so this while manufacturing, this is the thing you have to keep in mind. Like you don't want to use something like this. Like it's so hazardous and so high temperature, so much wastage in this kind of product, the way currently we do manufacture any stuff. We can do additive manufacturing, like using less material and 3D printing. Like this is just one of the idea. Like there's many ways to do it. This is one thing, and you can see like this is made in a room temperature, and this is could be as strong as the other, more stronger than the other material as well. Like you can see, build it slowly, layer by layer at room temperature, locally, like wherever it is needed. There's no transportation, like it can be done in a district level. You could have outlet instead of you are supplying the product, you just building this wherever it is needed actually. Lifetime use durable, long-lasting material, reduce energy consumption, reduce waste generation. So this is what when you're using, like when you're using a car, it's not when manufacturing is also bad, no, but you also have to think who will use it, what is needed. So use durable, long-lasting, reduce energy consumption. Basically, may design a like they're making all this EV cars. Why are they not making it with solar? So that's where you have to think. You don't have to just make EV car, but you have to make a EV car which doesn't even require electricity to run. That is called zero. Like it just runs. Of course, there will be limitation. Like it will run 50 kilometers a day without anything. But say if you want to run more, then you have to charge it more. So those are the things you can consider. Like, hey, by itself. So, but you have to think from there. Like you have a way. Like if a family travels only say 100 kilometers in a day, They should be able to travel for absolutely spending nothing on any, no recharging required, nothing required. And that should be designed. It could be like 100, it could be 50, but so these are the things you have to reduce waste generation. Lifetime use, like aluminum. This is like this is completely made from aluminum, very easy to recycle. It lasts forever, first of all. But even if it is broken, it can easily be recycled into anything you want it. Because you're not mixing material, you're not making it fancy. It's just plain and simple aluminum chair. So you have to rethink, how do we redesign stuff to make it as better as what it is, or even better, and but how do we make it even better for environment and you? Transportation, minimize transportation, use least harmful transportation. Just in case if this call disconnect, rejoin the call. Okay. Design for local conditions and resources, set up local supply chain. End of life, design for durability, design for recyclability, design for the. So we looked into the entire circle of things and how do we stuff so that we do it for durability, recyclability, de-assembly, with the mind like we make stuff from nothing. So we make. So we will initially we'll make millions, then we'll make billions, and then we'll make trillions from basically nothing. So that's why we make. Of course, nothing means not nothing. There's a human cost and there's a running cost and other stuff like that. There's a taxes to be paid. So basically, but there's no, your business is more robust because it doesn't depend on outside world. So you do like current, this is the end of the life, right? We don't want this kind of end of life. It's a landfill, right? It's a mixing material. You can see like rubber, plastic, it's completely useless. Or it's too cost prohibitive to even reduce. That's another repair. It should be repairability. We already covered about that. Recyclability. How do we recycle it? And so at the last, it has to be about human health. The product has to be safe, access to opportunity, labor conditions. Like you see, this environment is so difficult to work. It's monotonous. You have to redesign it. Like their technology available, this could be done automatically. Like human could be used to develop those automation. This is more interesting to work. Like he is working there 8 hours, they're just putting package there and there. It just imagine the impact could have in his life. Like difficult environment, boring, repetitive. You can get back pain so much. You can see like this is the typical manufacturing work which is happening. Like if they have built so many things, why didn't they build something which does these things automatically even? Or make it interesting, right? May the human just monitors the stuff, different things and other things like that. So you have to rethink manufacturing, like how could it be done in a better way without involving repetitive work, without involving boring work, and of course making more as well. So of course the goal is not to make less but make more, because the moment we start doing automating all this stuff, suddenly start making more. And of course, sometimes it's dangerous as well, right? These are very dangerous because I said, yeah, use less temperature, because something like making a chip will require you to go to plasma level and other stuff like those temperature. Those could be very, very dangerous to humans. Like you saw these iron furnace, very dangerous. If robot suddenly does all those things or it is automated, that means it's a lot better. Like we are not putting human in risk. So that is what you have to look. Baseline analytics and design strategy help footwear company reduce carbon footprint and packaging. So like we covered, this is another case study, design optimization. This is how we reduce, and this is how basically we cost to change, cost impact, like reduce 10%, cost change of material, reduce 8%, color print area reduction 0.4. So this is case study where they have done. So now you can see this is how much they reduced in every aspect. Like you're basically every aspect of design you can actually change. What was the change and how did it impact us? Targeting, setting, and performance management. There are the 4 elements help scale design for system across the organizational component supporting design. Support tools and processes. Of course, you need include environment thinking and R&D process, track and monitor products and environment, organize and set up, establish center for excellence of sustainability champions to enable environmental sustainability within the organization, capability and know-how, create awareness among manufacturing team, leverage partnership and train engineers to on basic design to green method and material decarbonization. So these are the things which organization can do to help these process. Like of course, and as I said, if you're not doing it, Others are doing it. Others are reducing the cost. They will make the cost cheaper. They will make it better, and they will make it local, and they will make you bankrupt. It's not that you can just relax and sit there and your business will go down the drain. And of course, it's about building customer service, like re-emphasizing performing together, contributing to environment, responsible supply chain. So we have to look, if there is a supply chain, we have to make a responsible, like, maybe SIP can also run from nothing. SIP runs through ocean. They have a lot of sunlight. They have a lot of wind. Why can't it run from nothing? There's no reason why it can't run from nothing. And if the ship suddenly run from nothing, that means you could build smaller ship, cheaper ship, and zero cost